With the cost of building a PC skyrocketing across the board this late in 2025, thanks to reasons we discussed in this video right here, there appear to be numerous gaming computer ads taking full advantage. This listing, for instance, is seeking $5,000 for what's titled an RTX 4090 Asus Strix high-end gaming PC. And, well, for that price, it better be. The photos look nice, though these first three shots are of essentially the same stuff. I wish sellers asking especially ridiculous sums of money would be a bit more creative with their angles, because all three of these are from the exact same angle. They don't reveal anything unique apart from what they already show amongst each other. Then we have a shot of the rear I/O, the BIOS, and finally the graphics card, which you can tell is their pride and joy because they're making it out to be a key component of the build's valuation. But unfortunately, it doesn't hold up well. Selling my custom-built high-performance gaming and workstation PC, this beast of a machine is built for 4K gaming, streaming, video editing, 3D rendering, and AI workloads with top-of-the-line components. The 4090 is a beast, and yes, his CPU, which is a 1300K, is not really a slouch by any means, but top of the line, I mean, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, my guy. The fact of the matter is that this PC is dated in 2025. It's no longer the best of the best. Far from it, in fact, given what AMD's done recently with its 9800X 3D. Heck, even the previous generation 7800X 3D walks all over a 13 series Intel chip. The AIO here looks to be either a 240 or 280 mil, so it's not a 360 as you may expect for a case that seemingly supports one, and it's not a model with an LCD screen or anything either, so it's not super expensive. We have 32 gigs of DDR5 in here, which is worth a heck of a lot of money today, a lot more than it was maybe a month ago, but it still falls far short of justifying the $5,000 ask. In fact, when you tally most of this stuff up with average sale prices on eBay, the total comes out to roughly $3,500, assuming you opted for a used RTX 4090 at $2,000, which is a crazy price for a used card if you ask me. RTX 5090s, in fact, are selling for ballpark similar prices, and I'd argue that for $3,500 this budget would be far better spent on, again, something like a 9000X 3D platform with your high-end modern graphics card of choice, even like a 5070, I don't know, 5070 Super, 5070 Ti, whatever they have now, 5080. Even those cards, I think, would be better buys. They just make a lot more sense from a value perspective than a previous gen 90 series card with the 90 series tax. So take that for what you will. We were generous on things like storage because the owner failed to disclose exactly which brands and models were used. Same goes for the power supply. What the heck is a 1000 watt plus Corsair PSU? Like, it's just, why are you not being specific, my guy? I mean, this is a $5,000 listing. I don't understand why you won't spell out exactly what components you have in your rig. So I wouldn't be surprised if this listing is either entirely taken down or lowered in price dramatically to fit more in line with current market trends. By the way, any price you see from here on out in these PC part picker charts that is manually entered, ergo not green, is taken from average eBay sales data, which you can check yourself by clicking the Advanced tab next to eBay's search bar, checking this box here, and then searching above for the product in question. And of course, we're also sure to filter out listings for parts because those prices are usually way outside of market averages, so you have a better estimate of what you'd be able to buy a working example for, at least as of time of filming. Whew, what a doozy this one was, and it will only get worse. I hope you will stay with me.
If you're looking for the coolest travel tech this Black Friday, check out the Slate 7, a versatile Wi-Fi 7 travel router. It's great for those always on the go, providing ease of use thanks to its integrated touchscreen, as well as a simple setup process. Simply scan the QR code right on the display to connect new devices, toggle VPN providers, and more, all without the need of an external app. And perhaps best of all, you can power it with the same cable you already use for your smartphone or tablet. So be sure to check it out via the sponsor link below before it's too late.
All right, if you thought a $5,000 listing with an RTX 4090 was bad, how about a $5,000 listing with an RTX 4080? Yeah, and the same CPU. This one's titled Aorus Gaming PC, I Build Them. Did you get that? He builds them. And it's been sitting on OfferUp, no joke, for over a year. And no, I don't think it's because the owner forgot to take the listing down after he sold the thing. I think this deal was just horrid to begin with. 13900K, 64 gigs of RAM, 6 terabytes of NVMe storage, a Wi-Fi killer 6E. Is that seriously his 5th item listed? Why would you list the Wi-Fi card like 5th from the top in a $5,000 listing? An RTX 4080 is next, followed by a Z790 motherboard, a 1000 watt G5 power supply, at least we're specific this time around, 100% Japanese capacitors. Woo! I mean, come on, my friend. Your storage is generous, I'll give you that one. But I mean, a 4080 and a 2-gen-old platform from Intel in a $5,000 PC, bruh. Maybe this ad made a bit more sense a year or two ago when it was first listed, but some of this stuff wasn't even new back then. I mean, even if you built this at new MSRPs, if you took the MSRP of every single component in this list, you could probably still build it for less than what this guy wants today. So he's just assuming that all of his tech is appreciating. The photos sort of suck as well. These two are nearly identical and faded for some reason, and I'm ultimately left wanting a lot for $5,000. RTX 4080s sell consistently on eBay, if you're wondering, today for roughly $800. I think they're actually great values on the used market. 13900Ks, again, for around $300, and 64 gigs of RGB DDR5 will set you back roughly $300 used versus around $400 to $500 new, so take that for what you will. Our price accounts for a fairly expensive Z790 motherboard, the price of RAM today, and a few other knickknacks, including a pricey PSU, which we've included as new, but play your cards right and you could probably build an identically performing rig for even less than the $3,000 listed down here. $5,000, we're not even in the same planet, my friend. Let's swing on over to Facebook Marketplace, and this listing is titled PC Setup. How descriptive. And the asking price is $2,000. Now the GPU is an RTX 4060 8GB, already off to a horrible start. The CPU is an AMD Threadripper 2950X. What? What kind of build is this? There's a 970 EVO Plus SSD, no mention of capacity, of course, because that's not important, right? Including in the photos, there's 4 gig sticks of DDR4 in here. I believe that's what he means by what he says here. And there's actually a nice ASRock X399 Tai Chi. $2,000 nice? I don't really think so. Now, it should be noted that several peripherals are also included in the sale, though they are all used, and the PC shown isn't even on in any of these shots, so who knows if it even works. Look, all in all, this would make for a pretty rough modern gaming PC, not even just from like a budget perspective, but just like from a sheer performance perspective. Like a Threadripper chip is just, yeah, you can game on it, but it's not optimized for gaming. The architecture itself is more about throughput, but not the kind of throughput that you need for gaming. You need fast, snappy cores to be able to communicate quickly with a GPU that's great at parallelization. A Threadripper chip, especially like a 2nd-gen Threadripper chip, just doesn't really do that. Honestly, this would be a pretty interesting test. I would opt for like a modern Core i3 or a Ryzen 3 chip. Like, I think those are probably better for gaming today than a several generation old Threadripper CPU. That's how bad those can potentially be for like high-end modern gaming today. Not that a 4060 or 4060 Ti is gonna be able to keep up in that department, but again, it's a very weird combo, and it's one that you shouldn't have to pay the price for if you can help it. And look, in all fairness, the seller isn't really advertising this as a gaming PC, but he's including plenty of gaming hardware to accompany it, including a Razer mouse, headset, and camera, so you get the gist. Also, the monitor models aren't specifically mentioned, so they may as well be like, I don't know, 1080p 60 door stoppers. This entire ad is a bit misleading given the primary specifications again, and when we factor in current used sale prices from eBay, the price is pretty dang far off. Maybe not as crazy as the last two, but this pairing of components on top of its overpriced nature has my head sort of kind of spinning, if you can't already tell. If you were to build a system with mostly used components today, it would set you back roughly $1,300. But would this, again, make any sense to build today? Absolutely not. Like, even in factoring in used prices, I don't even think for $1,300 you should be building a combo like this. A Threadripper 2950X sells for around $200 used, if that tells you anything. But there are much better new gaming CPUs to choose from today for similar prices. And heck, the motherboard that this behemoth's paired with sells on average actually for more than the workstation CPU itself does. So you're paying a huge tax for the platform when the CPU itself is just not really great for, I would say, a lot of workstation stuff even today. I mean, you can get desktop grade 16 core chips that just blow this out of the water. That's how far tech's progressed in the last few years. Everything is just so weird in this one, and I can't really make much sense of it, at least with my modern day lens, but you shouldn't let this builder's mistakes become your own. That's why you should probably ignore it. Let's keep going. This last one, I've been waiting for this one, is absolutely wild. It's titled Gaming PC, $8,800. He's so confident in his asking price that he's included it twice, once in the title and once just below in case you forgot. And the first component we see is another Intel Core i9 13900K. Now this is the S, the KS SKU, so it's slightly elevated, but still, it's just like, I don't even really want to read this ad any further. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, this is a fine CPU if you're buying used or new at a discount, but it does not belong in a $9,000 listing. And that's, again, assuming that you can circumvent the voltage issues that many of these were plagued with early on. It's just, it's tough to even spend $9,000 on PC gear just in general, outside of maybe like bespoke custom hardline cooling and handcrafted cases. And this case is actually very nice. We'll get to that in a second. But still, it's just, there's so much that this needs to have to be worth literally a nice used car. So let's run through it then. The AIO is a 360mm Ryujin. The graphics card is an RTX 4090. The RAM is a 128 gig kit of Trident Z DDR5. That's why. But okay, on a serious note, you can actually find used kits today, yes, even 128 gig kits, for a lot less money than you can find them new on sites like Newegg and Amazon. And I've normally not advocated for used RAM before, but I would consider these fairly extreme circumstances. Case in point, these most recent sold listings for, again, 128 gig kits are averaging roughly $400 to $600. Like it's a lot of money, but it's not as bad as it would cost you new. Oh wow, looks like there's 24 terabytes of storage in here. It's a 6 terabytes of NVMe and then another 16 of hard disk drives. That's 22, not 24. I guess he was running some sort of like NAS config in here, or that was the plan for the potential buyer. The case is an Asus ROG Hyperion, which is extremely rare. Again, we're gonna get back to this one. This one most recently sold for $900 on eBay, though a vast majority of buyers, I would say, are not willing to pay anywhere near that premium. You can bet your lunch money on that. You're looking for a very, very specific buyer for this very, very specific case. It's a huge sell. There are some Lian Li Uni fans in here, NF-A12s. I mean, they're not cheap fans by any means, but we're taking tiny little chips of rock out of this huge boulder. I can't take away the fact that this looks good. It does. And the components are premium. But in 2025, they aren't the best anymore. And the CPU alone ruins it for me personally. In this price range, it makes no sense. If you want to do like a very boutique custom thing, sure, but those are usually like bought in advance. Somebody approaches you, the builder, and says, hey, I want you to build this $9,000 system. I'm good for it. Here's my down payment. And then you build. So you're like commissioned to do it. You don't just build a $9,000 system with very elusive, very expensive premium parts that really don't make a lot of sense in terms of value, and then hope somebody bites. It's supposed to be the other way around if you're playing it safe with your money. I mean, just the storage alone, 99+% of gamers are not going to need this much storage. Ooh, that's like 1.5 Call of Duties, Greg. Like, yeah, but again, most games aren't going to fill up anywhere near this. Even if you unloaded your entire Steam library, I mean, you'd be hard pressed to fill up 22, 24 terabytes. I know some of you have like thousands of games in your Steam library. Okay, oh, it doesn't apply to you. All right, I overstepped there maybe. But in general, you're only playing maybe what, 3, 4, 5 games at a time. Just uninstall the ones you don't want. I would say 6 terabytes, just the SSDs alone are plenty for a vast majority of gamers. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, the case, I believe, costs more than any other component in this build except for the graphics card. So for our PC part picker list, this is gonna be a little weird. I can't even find a Hyperion for sale, a specific case from Asus. And so because of that, there's not really a price I can input. I can't even find the listing in PC Part Picker. The case is that elusive. So I picked an expensive one from Cooler Master. It's not quite $900, but it's extremely expensive. It's probably the most expensive, again, a vast majority of gamers would ever consider in any sort of build. So all in, we're looking at somewhere between like a $4,000 and $5,000 price for a setup like this, assuming for whatever reason you wanted to assemble a near exact match. If we're being generous, each of these storage drives new, I'm not looking at used prices for these, goes for a considerable chunk of change. Same for the power supply. But despite what this ad suggests, the build in these photos is not new, in my opinion, because it's assembled with multi-generation old components with no explicit warranty. And that's the real catch. You could maybe make the case, hey, this is a new CPU, it's sealed in the box, but it's 2 generations old. Okay, I mean, condition-wise, like the physical product itself is new, but it's not a new CPU in the sense that there are like 2 generations, 3 generations worth of newer CPUs from the same manufacturer that have already been announced and released. But the warranty thing, that's what really gets me. When you're spending $9,000 with no warranty, Good luck. I would say even manufacturer warranties may have already expired on most, if not all, of these components. And that's why nearly half of this very long list includes average eBay sale prices in place of MSRPs. The 1300KS sells consistently on eBay for around $300, ignoring all of its issues, again, around voltages and inferior BIOSes. Be very careful if you're buying anything like this right now. The ROG Strix 4090 sells for around $2,000 today, and the fact that this one's water-cooled has me sort of cringing even more, because who knows how long this pump has left, how long, again, it's been running. The seller's calling it new. Is it really new? Back to that argument again, but you just really never know. There are more failure points in liquid-cooled graphics cards than in air-cooled ones. I'll just put it that way. You could build like 10 solid gaming PCs for $8,800, and instead you get this one with a cool-looking case. I mean, it's a clean build, but it's not worth it. It's not worth anywhere near this amount of money. I don't know what this guy's hoping to get realistically. Maybe he thinks it's worth $8,800. I would offer him like 4. That'd be my starting offer. And I'm not doing that just to be a prick. I'm doing that because I actually think that it's probably worth about 4 if most of these components actually matter to me. What a wild ride. That last one is probably the most expensive gaming PC ad we've seen in a while. Though with the way markets are trending today, I have this like morbid feeling that more and more like it will pop up in the future. Thanks so much for watching. I hope at the very least you had a bit of fun with this one. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and maybe sticking around for the next. My name is Greg. Thanks for cringing with me.